What are some movies that you think deserve to be on the level of Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Scream, all of that? What are some movies that deserve remakes, reboots, sequels, prequels, all that shit? And what are some badass music that's coming out or has just come out? We're going to talk about all of that shit, and I'm fucking excited. Grab a drink, grab a coffee, grab a snack, whatever you need to chill. Sit back. We're about to kill some time.
What you doing, son?
Nothing. Just chilling. Killing.
True.
How would you like to die?
Aneurysm.
Because it's quick.
No, I want a long, slow aneurysm.
That has got to be the quickest intro spiel I've ever done. Hell yeah. And we're trying out a new background sound, so I hope it sounds good, because that's what you're getting today. Trying to mix it up. I don't want every single episode to sound exactly the same. So sometimes you'll get this, sometimes you'll get the spooky music we'll use the last 2 weeks. Maybe next week you'll get something different. I don't know. I just work here. But there's been a lot of buzz regarding movies lately. And for the longest time, movie remakes, movie sequels, movie prequels, all that shit was something that people loathed. They did not want it at all. Why are you doing this? Come up with something original, yada, yada, yada. But I think for the first time in my entire adult life, we have a crop of movies that I feel warrant a remake. And not only that, but I'm extremely fucking excited for it. We got 3 movies or series and one that's completely out of left field, because I don't know of any other things like this. We'll start with that one first. Are you a fan of Event Horizon? I sure fucking hope you are, because there's a comic book series that started last month, and it catalogs what happened to the team that you see die in Event Horizon. The captain's original team. We tell the story of that. You get to see what possessed the captain to do everything he did. The bullshit and weird stuff, violent, weird, bloody stuff that happened on that ship. You get to know who was on the team. You get to know their stories, their motivations, all that stuff, what he was doing, why he was doing it, and who he was doing it for. All of that is explained. The first issue has come out. It does a beautiful job in explaining some stuff, fitting the vibe, and leading you to the next one just enough that you have a lot of questions, but you're intrigued. So the prequel to Event Horizon will be told in comic book form. And me being a huge comic book fan and a huge fan of Event Horizon, this just tickles all the right parts of my brain. And hopefully you're as excited as I am. I read the first one. I'm going to be picking up the next one when it comes out in like a couple weeks. Yeah, it's going to be great. Also on the chopping block when it comes to... Well, not the chopping block. Why the fuck did I say that? On the board for remakes, sequels, prequels, all that shit. We are finally getting a remake of a movie I've always thought needed a remake. The People Under the Stairs. Jordan Peele, once again, production, Monkey Paw Productions, at the helm. This story is a story that needs to be retold because it goes under the radar far too often. And content-wise, I mean, it's as true as ever. We still got gentrification like a motherfucker. There's still class war going on. The rich get richer. The poor eat shit. such is life right now. And what a better way to tell that than redoing The People Under the Stairs. I don't know casting decisions, that's not been out there yet. I don't know who the actual director is. Is it going to be Jordan Peele directing it, or is he just producing it? I don't know. I know that they talked about this long ago, and he was excited, he wanted to do that, and then a couple years later, they gave him the thumbs up and said, okay, Jordan, we can do this. And then it got scrapped for 2-3 years, and now, in the year 2025, we got the green light, we got the thumbs up, and that shit is going down. It's about to go down! And then a couple that you probably would never guess, or at least you wouldn't guess that they're happening or who they're happening with, because a certain member of Saturday Night Live is taking a much needed revamping of a cult classic, one of my favorites of all time. I think I've watched it like 20 times this year. Sleepaway Camp will be remade in either movie or series form by Saturday Night Live's own Kenan Thompson. Yeah, the dude from Good Burger. The dude who wore a raincoat and splish splashed in the bathtub speaking French. That dude's gonna retell the story of Sleepaway Camp. Once again, casting decisions not out there yet, but it got the green light. There's interest. There's partnerships that have been announced. I don't know them. I don't go the film circuit, but I'm fucking excited. And lastly, not exactly needed, but I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. If there's any movie that they could possibly remake in a good way, it would be this. And that is The Lost Boys. The Lost Boys is getting a remake. I don't know if it's a remake per se, a reimagining, one of those meta sequels where they acknowledge previous ones, like The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I don't know. All I know is there's one of the lead actors from the It revamping, which I didn't think needed to happen. I don't like that Pennywise at all. And one of the people from A Quiet Place. And there are two people who have been confirmed for The Lost Boys. There's so many questions on literally all these movies. The only thing I got answers for is the comic series. But the hype is real. I'm excited as a motherfucker, and hopefully you are too. I'm both ready for these, but also sort of pessimistic. Because very rarely do remakes ever seem better or as good as the originals. The only ones I can really think of that are better or as good is The Omen. Like the original one, nearly perfection. The new one, the special effects are better, but the acting is worse. It kind of evens it out to just about the same playing field. The vibe's a little different, but still fucking solid. And recently, I rewatched a movie I've watched a handful of times this year alone. The Old Dark House. Now, this has been made 2 other times, like one in the 60s and one in the 80s. The original one being 1932. And both of the remakes do not hold a candle to the original Old Dark House. Vibes are different. They try to be more comedic. The threats aren't as threatening. It's not as historical. It's not as impactful. Just not as good. And that's what happens so often. You get something that's so iconic that anything after the fact is hard to live up to. And some movies are that good, but because of budget problems or production problems or just not a lot of good distribution. Nobody knows about them. They could be better than some of these classics, but you don't hear about them. You hear about Friday the 13th. You hear about Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Scream, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, whatever. But you don't hear about fucking bangers. And that's what the main topic of today is. What are some movies that you feel deserve to be in the upper echelon of horror? The kind of shit where you should go into a Walmart, a Target, or a Spencer's or Hot Topic or something and see merch for this, and not just the same 5-6 movies all the fucking time. I got a handful of answers. Do I agree with all of them? No. Do I agree with some? Yes. Do I have my own? You bet your sweet ass I do. So let's get right into it. I asked on TikTok, and I got a handful. So, AGR says they believe Salem's Lot should be just as good as those upper echelon horror movies. And I agree on this one. They also said American Werewolf in London. I feel like it is close, just not right there. It's like one step below. Like, if you're a horror fan, you know the movie, but you don't get merch about this shit, and you don't get everybody talking about it, but you can definitely love it. And I do. I love that movie. Special effects through the fucking roof. The gashes, the cuts, the transformation from man to wolf. Mind fucking blowing, especially from when it came out. Shout out to that movie. Men of Mayhem 912 says they believe Terrifier is. I think Terrifier is. I don't think it needs to be, because I personally don't fucking like it. I can't get into it. It's gore for the sake of gore with no story. I need at least some fucking story. Some. But I believe it's up there because, like, stores have merch for it. Podcasts are talking about it. Celebrities are doing stuff. Bands are bringing Art the Clown out there. It's the closest thing we're getting to Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, all that stuff in 2025. So I believe Terrifier is there. Miga Luch. I feel like I just said a slur there. But Miga Luch says Hatchet. Oh, I heavily agree with Hatchet. My Bloody Valentine. It's good. I don't know if I agree or disagree. I feel like it's perfectly rated. The people who love it, and it gets a good amount of talking about, but just not overdone to the fact of, like, these upper echelon movies. Return of the Living Dead, I feel like it's also up there. I feel it's properly rated. And Sleepaway Camp. I completely agree with Sleepaway Camp. Should be better. Third one, kinda dog shit. Fourth one, nearly impossible to find. Not good. But the first two, oh boy howdy, the first two, magnificent. And on Instagram, we got somebody saying the Mandela Catalog, it's supposed to get a film adaptation. Bitch, I am talking about movies. If it's not a film, it's not a movie. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to Google search that shit. God damn it. Doing homework now. Left school fucking 15 years ago. Okay, so I just looked it up, and apparently it's a web series. There's 2 seasons. It's analog horror, so kind of like found footage. I'm sorry, Jaden. I didn't mean to yell at you like that. William Mercier says Hellraiser. I feel like Hellraiser is just barely under them. Hellraiser is like alongside with like Leprechaun and Candyman. Like it's like that tiny bit of a step below that upper echelon. He says Hellraiser. There used to be tons of direct-to-video sequels and toys, etc. but it really feels like a premise that could have been capitalized on a bit better. I agree. I feel like it could have been a bit better. I was not a fan of a handful of Hellraiser movies. A handful of them I were, though. It's very inconsistent. And I feel like if it was consistent, they would be one of the top 3 or 4, maybe. Definitely in the top 5, Hellraiser would be. And J-Vibe says 13 ghosts. And J-Vibe, thank you for saying that, because that is the movie that I'm thinking of as well. Sleepaway Camp, sure. Yeah, I want that to be through the fucking roof. But 13 Ghosts has so much, like, potential. Because it had a story itself. And then sequels could have been made for each and every one of the rooms. A movie, a series, whatever. You could have 13th Ghosts, and then every single episode of the series is a different house. You can have every season be a different house. You could have a different movie for every ghost. Like, there's so much you could do. A lot of them really thought out. A lot of them really spooky. It's perfection. Why didn't they capitalize on 13 Ghosts? Also, give me a remake for fucking Ghost Ship. That opening scene was too good for the rest of the movie to be so fucking mid. I need more gore. I need more spookery. I need more. Give me more Ghost Ship. Give me more 13th Ghost. Let's fucking go. It is Friday, and just like every Friday, there's new music that drops. There's usually a surplus of music. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's bad. I'm not going to mix fucking opinions. I'm going to give you my straight up opinions on what I listen to. I'm only going to talk about the heavy stuff because I talk about heavy and I talk about horror. If you want to hear my opinions on pop and acoustic and indie and hip hop, go find my Instagram at KillMurray603. I talk about everything there every Sunday. But today is Friday. We're talking about the heavy shit. So let's fucking go. Honest opinions from whatever I listen to. Some of it might not be on here, because that means I haven't gotten to it yet. Some of it might not be ideal. Hopefully, we don't come across any. I heard what I might think is the best album to come out of New England in quite some time. I'm talking Burying Points in the Absence Of. From point A to point B, I think there's like 6 or 7 songs on it. Ass-beating anthems. Every single one of them. Some of them with great call-outs and great samples leading into just insanely heavy breakdowns, lyrical content on point, aggression on point. I've posted it on my social medias. I posted little reviews. I cannot sing the praise of this album enough. It is probably the best metal release I've felt came out of New England in the last 5 years. And that's saying something, because this past year or two, some strong shit, boy. Some strong shit. Check it out. Check this out. Check this fucking out. Okay?
Empty promises, will you stone? Will you carry the cross in the absence of God? To suffer.
That'll have you fucking mean mugging in no time. That shit was ridiculously heavy. In the Absence of God is currently out on all streaming platforms and YouTube. It came out last week. I found out about it a couple days later, but it's been on heavy rotation ever since. Another new thing that just dropped is new Author and Punisher. The album just came out this morning. And, you know, some parts slap. Other parts just sounds like a slightly heavier Marilyn Manson. And I think when it comes to Author and Punisher, you have to remember the novelty of Author and Punisher. You're not getting regular ass guitars and drums. You're getting machines. Machines that the lead guy fabricated to make this music. So you're getting like pulley systems and levers and things slamming down and pistons and weird steampunk synths and all that shit. So given that, you're like, holy fuck. But I think 75% of this album is just like slightly heavier Marilyn Manson. Like, check out this. This is from their newer song called Titmouse. So, like, I don't know if I fuck with it or if I fuck with the idea of it. But it's different. It's different. It's loud. It's bassy. It's like experimental, techno-y, death metal-y. I don't know. Music is subjective. I might not fuck with it, but maybe you do. So definitely check out the new album by Author and Punisher. A lot of it sounds like that. If that's your thing, you're welcome. After me talking about it online substantially and them hyping it up for the last couple months, Iron Gate finally dropped their EP, what I was calling an album. In my opinion, anything more than 5 songs is an album. But I digress. And it's called The Crushing Weight of Existence. Man, that's a relatable ass fucking name. And they do something that a lot of bands in their genre do not do. They find that perfect middle ground of their genre. Metalcore, metal and hardcore. Deathcore, death metal and hardcore. And so many times it's just breakdown, breakdown, breakdown with no hardcore representation. Iron Gate does that shit. It's beat down. It's growls, it screams, but it still has hardcore elements. There's shouting, there's the occasional two-step. A lot of their lyrical content is very hardcore. They found that perfect middle ground. While this particular release is a little more on the brutal side, there are a couple pieces to it that have that hardcore edge. And those are my favorite songs, unironically. The self-titled track has this. And their single, Pressure Scar, has this. Which vocally gives that late 80s, early 90s hardcore punk vibe to it. And I fuck with that. Combining that with some beat down, some deathcore, having the occasional two steps thrown into this. I think this EP had everything. Some solid shit. And last up, we got Kusozu with their new EP, Loved Ones. I recently watched that movie. Pretty fucked up. But unlike that movie, this EP is very enjoyable. I don't know how to describe Kusozu's sound. It's hardcore at times, it's chaotic at times, it's grindy at times. I just say it's heavy, because I like to put labels on things so that it's easily categorized and I can find it and I can relate it to things. I can't do that with this band. On this EP, there's even some parts that kind of give post-rock vibes. Like the 3-minute build-up in the opening song, where there's no main vocals. But once they hit at like the 3-minute 20 mark, I believe, it's now we're off to the races. Now we fucking cooking with gas. If I wasn't such a post-rock and instrumental fan, I listen to that shit all the time, that opening song would have been so hard for me. But I enjoyed the intro because it's a vibe, and I enjoyed the second half because it's fucking intense, like an Indian orgy. My favorite tracks off this release are the first song, Calandra, and the second song, Never Ending Wound, which I'm going to play a clip for you right now. But the Burying Point EP, the Author and Punisher album, the Iron Gate EP, and the Kusozu EP are all streaming right now across all platforms, so have some fucking fun. Some good heavy shit, bro. And now that we got the music out of the way and we're in the home stretch, we're about to wind down and end this shit real quick, I want to answer 3 questions. I'm doing half of what I wanted to originally and putting the other half for next week. We can gather some, maybe we can make this a weekly thing if it keeps going. I don't know. It just felt cool to do. First question is from my Horror a Day thing. The challenge I'm doing on Instagram, and I want to just put it out there because it's a fun thing to do. And, you know, I'm putting this out early enough that maybe you haven't seen that yet. Maybe. The question today is, what is your favorite horror movie of all time? There's 2 ways I can answer this. Is, what is my favorite movie that is technically a horror movie? And what is my favorite horror movie that is actually scary? And I will do that. My favorite movie, honestly, favorite movie of all time, is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Now, I feel like there's almost no actual horror, no scary horror things to me. It's all kind of just like weird and action and funny. But it's technically a horror. And if you're afraid of clowns, I get it. But Killer Clowns from Outer Space is my favorite movie of all time. I got a lanyard for my house keys that are Killer Clowns. I got a Killer Clowns from Outer Space tattoo right here on my forearm. I watch that movie probably 10 times a year. The clowns are just so funny and creative. Just whoever thought of this movie must have done so much cocaine. So, thank you for doing so much cocaine. That movie is wonderful. But my favorite horror movie that's actually scary is a movie called Incantation. It's done in Chinese and Taiwanese. It's a found footage, folk horror, Chinese, Taiwanese horror movie about a chant, an incantation, if you will, that brings bad luck to people, especially those affected by the curse. And the curse was brought to them because they interrupted a ritual, they disrespected the ritual's place, the sanctuary, all of it is taking place, and now they have a curse passed down onto their bloodline, and they have to get to the bottom of it, learn this chant, learn this incantation. It is wild, it is spooky, it is dark, it is imaginative, all that stuff, whether you watch the English dub or the Taiwanese dub with the subtitles. It doesn't matter. It's a crazy movie. There's parts in it that feel like Faces of Death. There's parts of it that feel like The Medium. But overall, definitely worth watching. And I believe it is still on Netflix. On Instagram, Jaden asks, I may have asked this already, But what is your favorite One Piece arcs or moments or characters? Character-wise, I am a big fan of Brook. I also really like, I think her name is Otama, from Wano. Her thing that she can pull a little, like, bean out of her cheek, feed it to things, and then just like, haha, you're my pet now. I fucking wish I had that. Now how many animals I'd be petting all the time? Far too many. And I also have a soft spot for Kuma. I like Kuma a lot. As far as arcs go, I really enjoyed Water 7 when that was going on. The whole God Usopp thing going down. How bad Frankie looked like a fucking threat before they all just kind of like were chill with each other and he joined the crew. I liked that a lot. And I really liked Impel Down. I thought enemies become friends was pretty cool. I thought Magellan was a huge fucking threat. Just the amount of action and weird shit going on that got me good. And Wano. Wano was extremely long. That's really the only downfall of it, because there's like 5 stories in that whole arc, and some of the best action scenes, bar none, in Wano. So yeah, Water 7, Impel Down, and Wano. Those are my picks. Adventure Jessica says that she just watched They Live, and Roddy Piper is in it, but she didn't have any idea that he was a wrestler, and that he's probably the first successful wrestler turned actor, and wants me to discuss wrestlers turned actors and how good they were. So we'll start with Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper had a couple movies. He was in Roadhouse, he was in They Live, and I think he had 1 or 2 others. Relatively successful for what he did. I think none of them were just straight out the box smashes. But from what I've seen of Roddy Piper, he was just a badass. He did what he was told to do, and he did it well. So I think he's pretty good. Hulk Hogan has been in a handful. Mr. Nanny, a Rocky movie. He's been in a couple episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger. I think a couple other things. He's also a huge fucking bitch and a terrible person, and I'm glad he's dead. I'm not a fan of his acting, just like I'm not a fan of his wrestling, and that's not being a bias or anything. I'm genuinely not a fan. He could have been a great person. I'm still not a fan. But he was successful, and people did pay him a lot of money. So, yeah, take that with what you want. Those are all certainly words. The next, Triple H, I think. Triple H did a couple movies. Blade Trinity was one. It was funny. It wasn't a good movie, but it was funny, thanks to Ryan Reynolds. And then he did The Chaperone, which was a fucking train wreck. So, yeah, not a good actor. Good motivation speaker, good wrestler, okay businessman, terrible actor. John Cena. John Cena does what John Cena does. He's very charismatic. I wouldn't say good actor. He's good at playing a particular role, and that is a big dude who can do physical stuff, but also like tell a joke and be charming. Until he gets out of the whole just big muscle dude who can tell jokes occasionally role, I don't think I can tell if he's a good actor or not. Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's been in a couple movies. I've enjoyed everything that he's done acting-wise. I haven't seen everything, but I've seen like 4 movies, and they've all been great. And I also love him as a wrestler, so successful. Batista, probably in my opinion, the best actor that came from wrestling. He doesn't just take one kind of role. He does so many different kinds. And that makes him a great actor. Like, he can play dramatic roles, comedies, action, horror. He can be supporting role. He can do it all. And he does it well. He's also a great fucking person. And The Rock. The Rock is very successful. He is very wealthy. He's very important. He's also not a good actor. I feel like he has something in his rider that says, if I'm in a movie and there's a fight scene, I can't lose. And I would love Yuri Boyka from Undisputed to just roundhouse kick him in the face in the middle of a fight and knock him out, and then the director to just go, and we're keeping it. Good job, Yuri. Because I don't care for him as an actor. I liked him as a wrestler in the 90s and early 2000s. He had his moment, and that moment is gone. So I just talked for like way too fucking long. This is probably my longest episode of the podcast so far, but thank you for chilling with me. I hope you liked the spooky vibes. I hope you enjoyed all the music that we clipped to show you, and I hope you go and try to look for the full things on Spotify, on Apple Music, on YouTube, wherever you get your music. And I hope you check out some good fucking movies. If it's one of the ones that I talked about, you're welcome. And if it's not, tell me about it. I want more movies. But that's been Killing Time with Kill Murray, episode, I believe, 58. So thank you so much for spending time with me. Reminder that my album drops October 24th. And have a great night.